On November 10th, 2022, YouTuber and musician Quadeca released I Didn't Mean to Haunt You to an insane amount of praise from the underground music community. If you don't know him, Quadeca as an artist is mostly known for his YouTube videos and his online internet persona, whether that be earlier albums, his styles of rap videos, or that damn KSI diss track. That's how I found him. A little bit more than 2 years after that, I released my analysis video, The Best Album You've Never Heard Of, which was talking about I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. And the video actually did extremely well and got a lot of love and attention from Quadeca fans and people outside of his general fan base. Got a lot of comments saying I put them on. You're welcome. And if you don't know what I Didn't Mean to Haunt You was, it was an outstanding album which through 11 tracks really explored this ambient experimental sound telling the story from the perspective of a ghost. And since that album is released, I've become a greater Quadeca fan than I once was. I went to a concert where he opened at, and he not only released a mixtape called Scrapyard that was outstanding, and Anthony Fantano 9, but he's been going through the entire rollout process for his next studio album, Vanisher, Horizon Scraper. Fans of Haunt You and Quadeca as a whole could already tell that this was going to be something special. Every piece of marketing, advertising, every music video clearly had this singular sailor motif, and me personally, I was too damn excited. And after 3 singles and years of wait, on July 25th, 2025, Quadeca released Vanisher, Horizon Scraper. And not even 1 week after that, someone asked me, was I gonna make a video about it? Well, I am. But not just any video. Yeah, I know you can see how long this video is, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be doing a full album breakdown. That means not only are you gonna be seeing me in front of this hole on the wall talking about the narrative of the album, track by track, but you're also gonna be seeing a live musical analysis where I'm just listening to the album and giving a live analysis because I do have a background in music if you didn't know.
Let's start analyzing.
Hey storytellers, Chill here, back from, the kitchen, honestly. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna edit this part, but this is my live musical reaction to Vanisher, Horizon Scraper. That means you're gonna get my opinions and analysis on every single corner of this album, perhaps with some secrets that you may not be expecting. So, to officially begin the video, hey storytellers, Chill here, back from the sea. And today I am very excited to bring you probably one of my most ambitious videos ever, a full album breakdown of Quadeca's junior studio album, Vanisher, Horizon Scraper. This melody is going to be extremely important. Sort of asking a question musically. This begins the album like all stories, an introduction, an actual introduction musically, slowly building the track piece by piece. But yeah, like the music video shows, it is a slow walk into this world. It is a preparation, almost like how this song is a preparation for the entire journey ahead. We're going to be calling the main character of the story the Sailor, just for simplicity's sake. And I want to establish this, yes, while the Sailor is played by Quadeca and while the songs also relate to Quadeca's real life, when I'm saying the Sailor, I mean the fictional character in the story. I'm not talking about Ben, Quidunker, Quididdly, Quonk, hit the quant. Sorry. But in the music video and within the song, we see the Sailor essentially building the ship, building the Vanisher. I'll be there when no one is. Like, it's building, it's building, it's building. It's getting you ready for a journey. And then it lets you off with OLEKA's beautiful vocals. When no one is, like, higher than the original ones. With these, are they square leads? They're softs. They're softer. But the synths, they're warm. And they welcome you in. The lyrics I'll Be There Where No One Is, sang by both Quadeca and OLEKA, sort of suggests two parallel stories playing at the same time. The first story being shown in this is a more surface level romance story. This is not the last time that love is going to be brought up as a topic within this album. And it's not just generic love, as within the context of the album, it sort of seems like it's all the same person that is being talked about. And perhaps this lyric being sung by Quadeca himself sort of suggests that it is, you know, the sailor speaking to this love interest. And the second story is that this is the sea or adventure itself speaking to the sailor. The sea is eternal. It is never ending. It is always there. So looking at those lyrics with this context, it feels inviting and menacing. Two things that the sea can definitely be. I mean, the sea is beautiful. The waves sort of make you want to go in. It feels nice to be in the water, but god damn it, it is dangerous. My biggest fear is being deep underwater. Well, I have several biggest fears. That, wolves chasing me downstairs, being alone, the president. And this idea, using the sea to talk about the contrast between beauty and terror, this is something that we're going to see repeatedly throughout this album. Interesting that it's a lighthouse and you hear the sounds. It's sort of, it can be going back and forth, but it's also almost circling us. The next track is Waging War. If there is any doubt in your mind that this album is telling a linear story, even without the visuals, this track proves it 100%. Right after the sailor has built his boat, he is now setting sail. Hey, chill, why did you say that like the title of the song is Setting Sail, you dumbass? Well, that's because I want to say thank you to Quadeca himself on Genius.com for saying this. I would have not thought of this, to be honest. The sailor beginning his journey and putting up his flag to start to sail at sea is a moment of surrender. Like how a white flag in war indicates a moment of surrender. This giant white flag to begin sailing is showing that the sailor himself is surrendering to the sea. These drums. This group building going dun 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 dun. It's moving you, almost. I think the contrast between these really heavy drums with these softer vocals creates some sort of a push and pull feeling, which may not always be purposeful to signify something, but with an album entirely based on, like, right, the sea and the ocean, push and pull makes you think maybe that was a bit more purposeful, right? However, my personal interpretation of this narrative, just because of how honestly nuts this story gets as we progress in the track list, is that the sailor is not only surrendering himself to the ocean, but perhaps something more literal, a bizarre entity that is unnamed and unseen, but can be felt throughout every track from here on now. You hear those building synths? Seems to be once again preparing you for something. Building, 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 increasing tension. Stuff is getting louder, but the vocals are just getting, they're just getting larger. Ugh. This sample is great, by the way. The drums, I love jazz drums. This is such a fun part. In this song, we also begin to see a literal internal battle that is happening within the protagonist. Like, yes, of course, we have the actual physical journey where the sailor is going out to sea and will have to deal with whatever is over there. With sea beasts or something. Seamen. But we also have a character with a clear internal conflict with self-worth and self-love. And that this song hints at the idea that maybe the sailor is going on his journey to escape these feelings of, you know, a lack of self-love or a lack of self-worth or doubting himself. All these negative feelings, he's going on a boat and literally leaving his comfort zone so that he does not think of those feelings that he thinks of when he's at home. And we're gonna see in the coming tracks that that doesn't exactly work. It's an interesting contrast because in this song we see that the sailor is almost accepting the chaos and the disorder of the ocean and of nature, but is actively rejecting the chaos and disorder of his own life and his own mind. Oh, these are strings. We hear them. Doesn't that sound like a melody that we'll hear later? It's these stuff like he's hinting at, he's building stuff, foreshadowing things. And even this outro part, most people would just leave it there and stop the song. He's still going. These sounds, these almost sounded like waves in themselves. Gorgeous. My favorite thing, if you know me, you know I love a good waltz. 3/4 time, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Track 3 is Ruin My Life. So while the sailor spent the entire morning and afternoon building a ship, and the entire night dealing with his own emotions and getting the confidence to actually go out to sea, he's gonna wake up the next morning and pick up a guitar. As Ruin My Life is a beautiful morning guitar tune that can easily be heard at sea. Like, it's not just because there's ocean sound effects and the album is themed around sea. This just sounds like something you would hear on like a gondola. It's like it's going down, but not by too much. It's like a walk down the steps, but very tiny steps, like the steps of Venice. And the percussion that isn't too overpowering, but sounds really wide. Oh, but now we sort of get deeper into this as we also build the sound. And the drums, once again, are moving with the beat in this waltz. Ruin My Life as a song directly states the sailor's motivation. He is alone. And he never says it straight up, but he is on the ocean to leave the struggles that he had back home. And now that he is on the ocean on a boat alone, surprise, surprise, he feels alone. And we see how lonely he gets because this guy, goddammit, he feels comfort with rotting potatoes. Yeah, the potato skin lines isn't like a talk about a delicious snack. It's about disgusting potatoes rotting. Ew, gross. Gross moment. Hashtag gross. And also, according to Quadeca on Genius, these potatoes actually cause the sailor to hallucinate. You know, like the end of the song where it gets sort of funky and stuff, and perhaps, you know, some of the things that happen later in this album can be interpreted as hallucinations. However, in my interpretation, I believe that the potatoes did cause him to hallucinate, but also caused him to perhaps connect to something greater that is looming on the horizon, Scraper. But I don't know, this song is absolutely beautiful and totally makes sense as the first song that the sailor actually plays while at sea. It is beautiful, it is uplifting, it is all the things that you want to hear when you wake up in the morning and you hear the beautiful sounds of the ocean. And the sea has calmed down. Like that sounded like intensity, and now it sounded like relief. Feels so like Paris, you know, like young. I was so certain. And then whatever this sound is in the back, it's beautiful. Piano? Electric piano, maybe?
We're talking about the vinyl tracks now.
I'm taking shit off. But track 3.5 or track 4, the next track we're going to talk about is one of the vinyl exclusive tracks called Not Enough. So yeah, the secrets I had for y'all were talking about the vinyl tracks. Now I know for some of you this may be weird. In my Haunt You video, I didn't even talk about the vinyl tracks. I didn't even mention the vinyl. mostly because I didn't listen to it. Second favorite album of all time, by the way. But here, in preparation for making this video, I decided to listen to all of the vinyl tracks and try to fit it in this greater narrative. Obviously, it's not the whole story and then just a bunch of vinyl tracks, and it makes perfect sense because then it's complete and utter nonsense. But I actually found a way to, you know, order each of the vinyl tracks into the track list and still make a coherent story. It's a mix of my own interpretations and also like 7 to 10 different people on Reddit who also did the same thing. So if you recognize this track listing as your own, tell me in the comments. I have no shame in saying I looked at Reddit for this. But yeah, in my opinion, Not Enough fits right after Ruin My Life. The lyrics of this song describe a longing for someone. A longing for someone who can be there endlessly for the sailor, on the sailor's shoulder forever, as described in the song. Unlike previous tracks, this is not the sea, this is not a metaphor, this is longing for a legitimate, real person. The person that we have mentioned that I have called the love interest, which I will continue to call the love interest, unless we like find a name or something, but like, that'll never happen. I'll let to that. Hold up. Ooh, see now, a little bit of a, little flamenco claps. Ooh, oh, it's sort of jazzy. Like there, that introduces a bit of tension, a bit of antagonism. Ooh, but obviously after Ruin My Life, which is a lot more upbeat, a lot more, you know, this is my first morning on the sea, this is super hopeful and super optimistic, Not Enough feels like more of a later in the day reflection. You know, a reflection on why he left. He hasn't had a profound, like, realization or an epiphany, but just thinking back on his motivations. The Sailor, and in turn Quadeca, does a lot of reflection on this album in little pieces, sort of slowly getting more and more nuanced, more and more emotional, until we eventually lead to the final track, which is, you'll have to wait until we get there, but I love it. But yeah, that's it for Not Enough, the first vinyl exclusive track, and trust me, it is not the last.
We'll be right back with more Chillixion.
Boy, God, I came back from sea. Oh, gross. I'm taking this fucking hat off. Whoa! I was in the ocean, and in the ocean, there was a beautiful, voluptuous mermaid lady who told me a secret. You should click that like button. I feel really bad for tricking you guys that time. You guys probably got really excited about that mermaid story, huh? But in all seriousness, though, you should totally click that like button. If you're watching this far into the video and are gonna keep going, please click that like button to show your support. Let's get this video to 65 likes. Yeah, 65 likes. It's a great way to show your support of the channel. And actually, if you're watching this video and you're a Quadeca fan, a fan of Quadeca's music, I have something to show you.
The captain can't go back to sleep. He's got mistakes on the tip of his tongue. He said that ship life ain't for the weak. And now my brother's pen pals with the sun.
That's me, yeah. On top of doing storytelling analysis and writing videos, I am a musician. I'm an alternative nerdcore artist, and aside from just sounding like the worst person to have at a party, that also means I make weird music for people who like nerdy shit. And if you like that, there's more where that came from, specifically on the channel Chillx, or Chillixion Music. This is where I upload my nerdcore songs whenever I finish them. I'm trying to get into a consistent schedule, hopefully bi-weekly at some point, but as of right now, I'm just kind of uploading songs when I want to, and I have some good ones, like the one you just listened to. I'm also on Spotify and Apple Music and all streaming services that you can listen to music on. I'm there. It's Chillixion, Chillixion. But yeah, that song you just heard has already dropped and it's out on my channel and on streaming. So click that link in the description to check out my music or to just queue it up on your playlist. Anything is appreciated, really. So remember, support the content, support the creator. Not just me and this channel, but my other channels and any piece of art that you guys see. I want to really encourage that we should share art and support artists. Anyway, back to the video.
Welcome back for more Chillixion.
Track 4 is GODSTAINED, also the first single of Vanisher Horizon Scraper. The first thing I want to do before we hop into the song is point out the line, fiberglass solutions, which at first I thought was just a beautiful line, but you know, clearly there's more to it. Thanks to the Quadeca subreddit and my friend Apollo, hi Apollo, it actually means a lot more and connects to the larger narrative of the album as a whole. Andrew McAuley was an Australian adventurer who in 2006 attempted to cross the Tasman Sea in a kayak. If you don't know what the Tasman Sea is, that's okay. It is a notoriously dangerous body of water. So this guy Andrew was ambitious in his dreams, and to be honest, that is something that I will never falter in someone. I wish I was just telling a story about an adventurer, but sadly, it did not end that way. Andrew would be lost at sea and presumed dead in 2007. It's a sad story. It truly is. And I'm making no light of it when I bring it up in this video about a fictional experimental hip-hop album, right? But I do bring it up because one of the main reasons for the disappearance, or at least one of the main reasons thought of for the disappearance, was that he had a capsule that broke on its tip, and the lack of said capsule allowed the ship to essentially go capsize and flip over. And the flipping over of his kayak led to him being in the water, calling for an emergency, not being able to get over the line, and trying to perform a self-rescue. All of this due to the broken capsule. And the capsule was made out of fiberglass. So whether or not Vanisher Horizon Scraper is a parallel to this story, is an alternate retelling of this story, or it's just a reference to this sad story, it's important to know that Quadeca is always looking at reality when making his art. The vocals already sound so clear. They sound so soft. And the guitar is filling the entire soundscape, but leaving a lot of open space for possibility. But it doesn't feel as limited as it did in Ruin My Life. And then the snaps, adding some sound, the flute as well to the side, and then, yeah, those vocals fill the rest of that space. Hints that something else should fill this. We're building it up, 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 and very soft drums. GODSTAINED is both a song to a literal person, the person of interest, and it shows the sailor's, more full-fledged feelings towards them, his condition, and their relationship, but is also a song about a message in a bottle. This message providing him a conduit for his feelings. Like it's a bit of a funky beat. It's a bit of a funky melody. December something, 1998. There's like piano in the back too. This is so like jazzy and like bossa nova-esque. Ooh, feel it, feel it, feel it. The title GODSTAINED, to mean disgraced by what is holy in the eyes of God, could be referring to the bottle itself, or could be referring to the sailor. As right now, the sailor seems to be taking a more protagonistic role, obviously because he's the protagonist, but in contrast to this idea of nature or a greater nature, or even this concept of God that is sort of taking on this antagonistic perspective. Like that whole little run is such a well-written melody. It is such a catchy, well-written, vibrant, and versatile melody that keeps you on your feet, but is catchy. And he's switching up the vibe again. He keeps it varied. And even though we're early in the album, by the end of the song, the sailor is certain of his journey. Yes, there were questionings, there were nights full of regret, but right now, he is certain that this is the right choice. As in my opinion, GODSTAINED is sort of the point of no return. And it's sort of fitting, right? That the point of no return, the point where the sailor is like, this is the actual beginning of my journey, I can't go back, was also the first single.
We're talking about another vinyl exclusive.
WINDWATCHER is kind of a mystery in my head, to be honest. Because unlike the other songs where, I'm constantly re-listening and thinking, oh, could it mean this? Could it mean that? Could it mean this? WINDWATCHER, when listening to it, only sparks like one idea in my head. And that idea is the idea of the new world. No, not the One Piece new world and not the fucked up Christopher Columbus new world, but just the idea of it going somewhere, exploring a new location, and discovering something you were not aware of before. Because on a musical level, Windwatcher as a song is a genre that Quadeca is not, like, in at all. I doubt he will make more songs like Windwatcher, especially because this isn't even on the actual album. He didn't put this out, so clearly he was like, this doesn't fit me. But to me, using a genre that is outside of Quadeca's usual circle and is also outside of this album's pretty wide circle of different genres shows that the sailor is going to new places and seeing things he's never seen before. Ooh. This is building out a world. It's filling it out. It's adding some contrast, it's adding some texture. It's making it harsh, but it's adding something to this world. It's now making a sound that originally sounded maybe a bit odd, maybe a bit strange, and putting it in context, it adds so much to the song, it adds so much variety to this beautiful track in the background. This sort of sounds like a chant in a way. Like, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be the sailor going past an island and seeing a different civilization and culture, or, you know, just going past an island and this is just the sound of nature and what's going on there. And I'm also unsure what this is from. Like, I don't know what language is being spoken, if it even is a real language. But if you do, please tell me. I would really want to know. But like the beginning of a new scene, this track begins what I consider Act 2 of Vanisher Horizon Scraper, preparing you for the journey ahead. And yes, I do completely understand why he removed this from the album, why it was never included in the track list. It is very conceptual and very jarring if you're listening to it for the first time, but in the context of the narrative, I love this song. Sorry. I know I've said this before, but the way this reverse thing along with this flute melody, it feels like musical waves. Intense musical waves. In my opinion, at a time like this is the first official track of Act 2. This song, like many songs previously, is still very, very reflective. It almost feels like a sense of regret at a point when it's too late. Maybe the sailor doesn't want to go back. He knows he can't go back at this point, but he's still just taking in all of the journey and all of the negative thoughts and feelings he's having. And the song also paints a picture in terms of what kind of character the sailor is, discussions of spirits on the floor, whether ethereal or alcohol, bottles, whether ethereal or alcohol, drinking, whether ethereal or, and finding freedom and relief within the ocean. Obviously, all that stuff is cool, but in my opinion, the most interesting part of this song is discussion of time and aging. Because with the lyrics, it seems to be a song about the fear of aging, but also the relief that aging brings you. With lyrics like, whatever gets me, don't get me wrong, whatever gets me probably had me all along. And that horn we hear, right here, sounds almost victorious, but almost like a machine horn. Like maybe something you hear on a boat. But also these arpeggios. Been a minute. The waves are done, by the way. Oh. When he has lyrics like this, it is now a discussion about the inevitability of the fate that everyone has at sea. Or maybe a realization that he wants to explore so much and do so much of his life that if he dies on the way, maybe it's worth it. While Act 1 seemed to be the sailor, convincing himself to actually go on this journey, here it seems like he's dealing with more negative thoughts and dark emotions, but instead of running from it, he is continuing on his journey. At a time like this, to me is a statement that even with all the negatives, all the bad shit in life, it is okay to face your fears head on, even if you're still terrified of them, as time doesn't slow down for you, and the chaos of the world doesn't calm down for you. So you just have to keep going, despite it all. Another waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And y'all hear the other background sounds are also percussive, like just the sounds of the nature add so much. Throughout this entire album so far, we've seen the Sailor and Quadeca struggle to even acknowledge that there is an internal conflict going on, one of self-doubt, one of self-worth, one of longing. We see it in No Questions Asked, Ruin My Life touches on it for a bit, Not Enough was about it, so was GODSTAINED, and At a Time Like This served as the Sailor's first major struggle on his adventure. And so as a result of all of this, we get Monday. Hats. The most clear that these vocals are gonna sound for a very long time. Yeah. Like the way that the strings are going too, it's not just they're playing a note, they're sort of diving in. Into the piano, as the piano is soft and pillowy. And just sort of twinkling on the top here. It's just, everything is just so soft. It's just, it really is like a relief, musical relief. Monday is almost a celebration. It has a much clearer and more audible production than the other songs and has a more bright and poppy sound. Monday is an acknowledgement that the Sailor does want to go for his romantic interest. He does have flaws, he does have struggles. The song, however, also reflects that he can't fix this. At least in the state that he is right now, he cannot fix who he is. But even with that, that doesn't mean his journey is over. His journey has just begun. He has a long ways to go, but he is acknowledging all of his troubles. Back in this twiggin. The percussion is getting a bit deeper into those mids to those lows. And the flutes sort of going forward like they're dancing along with the music. And this little like almost sounds like a signal within the water, like it's expanding, or like a water drop. And here, like, the percussion is as deep as it's gonna get. He will be aware of the troubles that he has and the troubles in the world, and he will continue to venture forth. The Sailor, despite all of this, will continue to live, not just on Monday, but every day. These vocals in the back. Ugh. Quad's vocals here sound so musical. Like, they don't, like, they're clearly vocals, but they don't sound like how vocals sound, at least in that inflection. And like, that is just gorgeous. That is just absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. Truly musical stuff. Like, they sounded a lot less like vocals and a lot more like instruments, and it made that feel like.
Time for another vinyl exclusive track.
This one is called Touch the Sky. Entirely sung by OLEKA with gorgeous vocals. This song actually doesn't begin with singing, it begins with spoken word. Spoken word that sounds like the recording of someone. Now, fair warning, the next like minute is gonna be like heavy stretches and heavy bullshit for me, but this is how I interpret the story, so just let me do this. Obviously, we don't know who is speaking, right? But it's the way that they're speaking. It sounds heartfelt. It sounds like someone talking to a loved one. Now, this could be an in-universe family member of the Sailor, or, more interesting for me, this could be the person of interest in question. Because once you begin to think of this song in that light, this is now a more interesting track. It is an outside perspective of the world and the story, not from the Sailor's point of view, but instead from this person of interest. I mean, this character that has been spoken of so much in this album so far gets a song entirely to herself, as more parts join in. And we get sort of a shake. So new. I'll never leave. Where can we go from here? Though in some of the lyrics, we can actually sense a strange sense of longing for the sailor. Like his love is unachievable. This track is painting the picture of someone who loves and cares for the sailor, loves him so much that she lets him go on this journey, on this ambitious thing that he desperately wants to do so bad, but that she has no interest in. She lets him go, and sometimes that is the hardest thing to do. In a way, these lyrics are creating a narrative where the internal conflict, all of the sailor's self-doubt and self-worth issues, and his romantic struggles, all of this was intensified by his decision to go at sea. To leave for a very, very long time to somewhere extremely dangerous far from your loved ones, and then finally punctuated by the fact that clearly this person of interest had no interest in going into the ocean and risking their lives. Now, this track is absolutely beautiful. I do kind of wish it was on the original album, but as a vinyl exclusive, it is just gorgeous, and it adds so much to the narrative that I think paints the story in a completely different light, at least in my opinion, as it gives character to this love interest and allows us as an audience to connect with her a little bit more. Too far behind you, like this. It sounds like a early 2000s jam. Like, I don't know why this makes me think of like Spider-Man 1. I have no idea why, but like just the like it's satisfying when we hear those final notes. Do 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 do, and I love how that ends. That's just gorgeous to me. That song is beautiful, like musically beautiful. I know I didn't talk about it much. I just kind of sang, but it's beautiful to me. And immediately following this perspective is Dancing Without Moving. And I mentioned that it's right after Touch the Sky because this song is all about the love interest. It is a sort of alternative R&B pop tune. And these keys sound sort of starry, but also just work at synth stabs. Where on a night right on the boat, the sailor just thinks about how much he misses his connection with this woman. He dreams about dancing with her, comparing him and her to constellations and celestial bodies, which funnily enough ties to the album later on. This song is not only outstanding, but paired with Touch the Sky creates a 1-2 punch of sadness and then satisfaction. Yeah. The use of drum fills in parts where they could be missed by a first-time listener, definitely will probably be missed, it fills the sound though, and it's so worth it. Stuff like that makes the percussion feel a lot more alive. I love this part. If we hear what these instruments do, just sort of jamming together, it sounds like they're all in the same room. And again, the sounds of the boat itself acting as percussion.
A vinyl exclusive.
And I think out of all the guitar in the album so far, this sounds the most raw. It sounds the most directly in your face. Which is so interesting because the vocals in turn are going to sound extremely hazy. where usually the guitar seems like it would be what's more open. Here it's clear as day. And the vocals seem to be coming in from somewhere else. This track is called Before You Go. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, there's an extremely high chance that this was just a early version of GODSTAINED. As a musician, there's so many times where I'll write lyrics, I'll make a full song, and then I'll say, actually, this beat is ass. I'm switching the beat, and I'm reworking the entire song. And it's technically the same song, but they're completely different. So there's a big chance that this song was never meant to coexist with the rest of the album. But as a storyteller, I don't really care. I'm gonna make it fit. Now, my interpretation for what this song means in the narrative is entirely reliant on if the music videos, the time they take place in is relevant itself. Because a song following a nighttime of travel and dancing, sort of being hazy and forgetful, makes a lot of sense. Especially because it's a jumble of a previous track. I mean, it could be the result of a dream, like how we see later in the album. Or drugs, like Quadeca mentioned on Genius. Or perhaps this could be the result of something grander and more supernatural looming on the horizon. Yeah, a time change? I believe it's a time signature change. Everything is filling out. It's moving at different rhythms. You hear like these almost mechanical sounds with these still hazy vocals and a little tonal dissonance there. The vocals are sort of fading out of existence, sort of just stretching into the ether. Perhaps a dream fading away. The guitar still as raw as ever. Now, there's something I want to point out about the lyrics of the previous song. Dancing Without Moving ended with a spoken word verse. It said, "There's a man on the horizon, and there's paradise behind him. But if he turns around, it disappears." Now, obviously, the man on the horizon could be the sailor, and paradise behind him could mean the home he's going to return to when his journey is over, when he turns around and, takes that trip. And if he turns around too early, if he goes back now, it's gonna be gone. He's either not gonna make it or it's not gonna be the paradise that he truly deserves. And isn't it funny that after that line, the next song is literally a look back of a previous track, is literally a turnaround of earlier in his journey? Obviously, it's not on purpose, but it's kind of funny how that works out, because if you look at these songs like that, it makes what happens later in this album and the sort of chaos that occurs, maybe that's a consequence of him looking back. Beautiful flutes. That low bass or that cello, it's truly just like going as low as it possibly can. It still works, but it just doesn't sound, it sounds a little wrong. Ugh. I love this. The sample he used for this is gorgeous. This is beautiful. So that's why follows with legitimate rapping, thank God. The song begins with a thoughtful reflection on the sailor's younger years, a theme we've seen before. Reflection is not new to us on this album, but here, the reflection is a lot more pessimistic than before. And interestingly enough, that's why it isn't really a song about anything romantic. It's just a song about how the sailor, and in turn Quadeca, feels about himself. In a way, this is another massive hurdle for the sailor. I mean, dealing with the hard shit, dealing with emotions, dealing with self-reflection, dealing with the reality of all of his flaws head on. And while in earlier tracks it may have sounded sad or like pity, here it's blunt, it's honest. Maybe leading to why these words are being rapped instead of sung. They're not really ballads or songs trying to get at your feelings. Here he is just stating a matter of fact. The line, "What if I jumped and I survived, that's what scares me the most," to me, is a bit of a statement on this journey as a whole. Maybe what scares him about going on this adventure is if he survives and returns home. I mean, what is he gonna do after this insane thing, after this insane journey, after this insane ambition? If he returns home alive, what's next? But to me, the chorus, that's why, is a reinforcement that it's okay if it's scary. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Like you hear it? Like that part is a little less so, but the main part is very wavy. I keep saying it, but it just feels consistent always. Waves are a consistent thing with Quadeca's vocals in this album. Vocals, production, whatever. Using syncopation to lead us in. But and just how wide it is and how many voices are doing all the parts, it feels like a song you can really sing along to. It don't get any better in this life. It doesn't get any better in this life. Yeah, shit can suck. Shit can suck real fucking bad. Things can be really awful, but also this life gives us some of the greatest moments in our lives. Some of the highest highs we've ever experienced, obviously, was in our own life. We have to live with both things. You know, life can be bad, but life can also be great. It can be fulfilling. It's about the journey, not the destination. It's about each of the moments you have, not the ending and its total. It's about creating, not the result of the creation. To me, that's why is a clear statement on art, artists, and artistry.
Vinyl exclusive time.
You know, not every song can get a really long analysis section. Sundown is the next track. It's another vinyl exclusive one, and there's no lyrics. It is pure instrumental. And yes, Quadeca is outstanding at instrumentation. I guarantee you the reaction segment of this video is glazing this song right now. But I do believe this sounds like Sundown. Like, obviously, this is what the song is called, but it feels like the sun is setting. Sort of that warm sound, but those synths where it feels sort of odd, it's oddball. Like this is giving sort of 80s, 70s, and that's sort of giving like a purple, orange-ish, reddish thing. Like waves of oddness, you know. Not cold just yet, but not like as warm and as exciting as the morning is. And when there's rhythms like this in the album, it definitely feels like movement, speed, pacing. So it feels like a character hurrying up. Like, hey, it's time. Sundown time. This feels like a loading music. Or like a cutscene music for like a very long cutscene of the sun setting. So from my perspective, as I'm recording the narrative analysis portion of this video, to me it can symbolize, you know, obviously the sun going down, perhaps the sailor trying to go to sleep, or even the sailor trying to find an area that he can be in refuge for the night. I don't know, those are just me interpreting a story from literally just sounds. So yes, the track itself does not provide much story content, but it's important for me to say that this moment of sleep, this moment of trying to find sleep, will be the last peaceful moment that the sailor experiences for a very, very long time. And actually, it'll be the last peaceful sunrise that the sailor ever experiences. And in terms of story structure, just in case you guys weren't keeping up, we're heading towards the end of Act 2, towards the rising disaster.
Vinyl exclusive time.
Hurt to Swim is another one of these vinyl exclusive songs, and it has lyrics. As the title can suggest, it uses the idea of swimming and learning to swim as its main lyrical motif. And in terms of the story, yeah, it can be very literal. The sailor is literally surrounded by water at all times. But I actually take the idea of learning to swim as sort of a catch-all for everything risky in life. We've already established that at this point the sailor is extremely ambitious, he has big dreams and takes big risks. And you know, the lyrics of this song sort of imply that the risks have have dire immediate consequences like drowning or dying on your journey. So in my opinion, with all the talk of how ambitious the sailor is and with the album as a whole, it just makes sense that this is sort of a metaphor for all of it. Because throughout the entire album, death is sort of this looming, hanging anchor over the sailor's head. It feels like every other song, they're just being like, hey dude, you're gonna die on this journey. But this song shows the sailor's perspective on this mindset. He's gonna continue to try. He's gonna continue to push. He is gonna continue to learn to swim, even if he is so clearly drowning. I mean, to me, it's pretty clear that another theme in this album is pushing one's limits, going for ambition, and trying out your dreams. And it's positives and negatives. And in terms of what is literally happening in the story, I wouldn't be surprised if it was either the, sailor literally trying to swim at night, or if this is the sailor just trying to go to sleep. But either way, it creates a very interesting part of the story. To do an entire composition, from what I can presume is by yourself, to me is incredible. Like, first of all, we feel surrounded. We feel like we're already in the ocean. And that there are subtle movements. Just the bubbles moving, any life, us. This is what this sounds like. It sounds like the PS3, like the boot up screen, right? But that sounds like we're being surrounded by something. By space. And here, because of the reverb, because of the instrumentation, it feels like the ocean. I'm just gonna enjoy it, honestly. I know I'm supposed to analyze, but I just have to enjoy it. I'm gonna be honest. I Dream About Sinking is one of my favorite songs and might be the easiest one for me to do because it says it all in the title. Not only through the title, also the lack of lyrics, but the literal music video is showing the sailor sinking in the water. He's dreaming, he's asleep, he fell asleep and now he is dreaming about sinking. And to me, dreaming about sinking, it shows that he is at peace, but there's a calling. There's a sense of urgency, some sort of extra force is telling him to wake up. As if he continues to sleep, he will die drowning. I sort of see this as like a universal prophet for what is coming up in the upcoming songs. Throughout the entire album, right, there's this odd feeling that something is up. Like we've talked about it, that the sailor has a certain uncertainty about this journey, about the ocean, about the winds, about nature, about God. Natural Causes is about that. Feels like a call out. Somebody is after me, somebody I can't see. These lyrics sound divine, like some entity is hunting for the sailor. Somebody died on Monday, all of them dead by Thursday, all of them natural causes. Now, of course, we can take this lyric literally. Got you, yes, natural causes. The winds, the oceans, shit gets crazy over there. It is totally natural causes. Or is that just what the news is saying? Strings. A warning. Like, somebody is after me. Because now, there's a mystery. If it wasn't natural causes, what was it? Something that could kill this many people, that is this powerful? This is something greater, something grander that has been looming on the horizon since the beginning. And now, this something greater is looking for the sailor. This is what I'm calling an ominous antagonist. And the song fits this perfectly because now there is a question. Who is this somebody? Or what is this? And while some may not immediately agree with my interpretation, I guarantee you, when you see how this track fits in with the rest of the album, you will have your mind changed. Trust me.
Vinyl exclusive. Sorry.
This next track, this vinyl exclusive, is called I Don't Want to Miss This or Burns Down, depending on where you got your source from. And to me, After the threat that was natural causes from this ominous antagonist, this song is sort of like the equivalent of like a superhero suit-up scene. The sailor is preparing for the intensities ahead, or at least he thinks he is. I mean, he's just a guy, he's just a human, he's just a sailor. He doesn't really know what is necessary for what he's heading into. There's confidence, but there's fear. Is it worth the risk? Is it worth not going home? Would he rather miss the chance to experience this threat? Or would he rather miss the chance to go home? There's a certain uncertainty by the end of this song that despite his intensity, the sailor isn't entirely sure about his decisions. And in terms of the story structure, at this point, this is usually where starts to go wrong. Yes, while the hero might feel prepared, they are not, and they will lose in some sort of way. Think the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender Book 2. I mean, yeah, the heroes thought they were prepared, but they got tricked, they got split, and they got beat. The ending of this song specifically, a cacophony of noise that seems unplanned. It does not fit with the rest of the song. It sort of feels like an attack, like a musical attack from this ominous threat. This is crazy. There's like a flute there too. When I look at the album as a whole, despite him having hurdles and massive struggles, this is the first major threat that he has lost to. This is his first major failure. This is where most people would stop. And in a story about adventure and perseverance, a story where earlier he sort of shook his hand to God. He said, I am God-stained, but I do not care. I will continue this journey. In a story about continuing to keep going, when shit hits the fan, when shit gets too chaotic, when God spits back, what do you do?
Vinyl exclusive time. This track is called
If I hope a little too much, and I know it didn't do much, then somehow we never lose touch. We just grow a little too much.
Melancholy. Reflection. Begging Forgiveness is the end of Act 2. As a vinyl exclusive track that is sadly not on the actual album, it serves as the end of one part of the story and the beginning of another. The simplicity of the instrumental is important here. You hear in the back? A little whistle, not a flute, a whistle. And it's not perfectly on tune. Think about it like this. If this ominous being is being interpreted as some sort of god or something divine by the sailor, and he was almost killed by this thing, what would he do? Beg for forgiveness. However, even in this moment of struggle, the sailor picks himself back up. And he doesn't just reflect on this recent struggle, by the way. He spins back to thinking about his romance and realizes that he has to keep going because of this. A bass. Every parts are slowly building to come together. So that when you get to this part, like, his vocals are also a little bit more alive. Da, 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 da. What has this come to? But the whistle is still a little weak. These water sounds sort of reverb, large space, but then these more crystal sounds. Vanisher Horizon Scraper is not a story where the sailor becomes the greatest guy ever and lives happily ever after with his love interest. It's an album where the sailor gains the will to keep going, despite what crazy bullshit life throws at him. He keeps going so that he can achieve his ambitious goals. Sounds very familiar if you're anyone artistic. The end of the song, I'm Back and I'm Better, is a signal to the audience that he will continue his journey. It does not end here, that despite everything, he'll keep going. And a bit of musical analysis that I don't know if I talk about when I'm watching the album, but like the song gets more full, it gets more alive, it gets more upbeat as the song goes on, because while he was in this moment of struggle, he brings himself back to continue his journey. There's not going to be much to analyze here. This song is just hard. Where at this point the sailor has already tried and failed to face this ominous threat head on, he is now back and better and has more will to keep going, and therefore is going to try one more time to take on this greater being. Now again, using the idea that the sailor is perceiving this threat as God, that he believes it is God. What is one trait that a generic God might have? The ability to summon and bring down thunder. Sounds like a whining guitar. What? Rain it down on me. He. Not down to my feet. He. And let me tell you. To me, this song feels like action, but it's less of a fight and more like the sailor is welcoming the smoke, welcoming the entity into reality. He is ready to face it. He may think it's a fight, he may think they are going head to head, but we know that's not true. It's like Hell, by the confidence that this track exudes, I believe that the sailor does think that this is the end of his journey. Maybe that the thunder is the entity in question. Maybe that's how we're supposed to feel as an audience too. And also the lyrics of this song are very cult related, almost dismissive of religion, sort of spitting back at God. Now what? Bring that out of me. He bring that out of me. He bring that out of me. This song is clearly meant to be very intense and victorious from the perspective of the sailor, almost like I can face nature head on, I can get struck by lightning and thunder, and I can keep moving. That is the confidence that the sailor is exuding through this song, through its lyrics, and through its music. Like that also fills the sound and that just keeps the movement going. This part is so good. Like the act 3 is like so good. It's so good.
Vinyl exclusive. I'm getting really tired of doing this with my hoodie.
Bubbles is the next track. It is another vinyl exclusive, and I'm gonna be honest, to explain why Bubbles is here in the track list in my order requires a lot of assumptions from you as a listener. First, it requires you to already believe that the sailor has summoned the entity into reality, and therefore you need to believe that there is an entity and that the sailor summoned it and that it can be summoned. A lot of assuming here. And you have to believe that thunder was only the beginning, almost like phase 1 in a boss battle. So now, with that context, placing Bubbles in between thunder and the next track we're about to go to sort of makes Bubbles a new interlude. As thunder ends, you can have two equally true interpretations at this point. Obviously, any interpretation is fine. It's a music, you can interpret it how you want, but I'm saying like for the story that I'm telling, based off what I got from his album. The first is that the sailor has faced the thunder and is now going to the next part of his journey. You know, sort of like going to a new part of this stage. Maybe he has to, you know, swim under some rocks or swim somewhere very difficult because he learned to swim, and this is him in the water swimming towards the next track. That is sort of how I interpret it personally, just because I think that makes it more fantastical and makes the world feel bigger and makes it feel more like a journey and an adventure. I don't know, I like the idea of songs representing these things that aren't super insane but are just cool to hear how the artist interprets this musically. Or you can interpret that the thunder hit him and killed him. and that this track is him in the water and his final breaths are causing bubbles. To me, that's less fun. Now, this could entirely be true, and if you believe this, that's totally cool. I respect your opinion, but for me, it's just a bit boring, and it makes the tracks after this not as cool, not as intense. It makes this album not as fantastical as I truly think it is. So I'm not gonna really be explaining that interpretation moving forward. We're gonna stay on the crazy train, okay? We're gonna stay on the Chillixion train. Is The Great Bakunawa, featuring Danny Brown. The Great Bakunawa begins with a few seconds of silence before playing a sampled audio track claiming that God is coming. And for this track, there's not too much work that I personally have to do because what this track is about is very common knowledge within the fan base and within the album's community. Bakunawa is a Filipino mythological creature, a serpent-like dragon that consumes the moon, also known as the Moon Eater. And it's said that to prevent Bakunawa from eating the moon, people had to play music to sort of soothe it and lure it away. So here, Danny Brown, like how he did on Haunt You, playing the perspective of carbon dioxide, here he plays the role of the Great Bakunawa. I love how Danny's vocals are always mixed on me, or I love how his vocals are mixed on this. The strings, so good. Oh wait, no, not yet. As the sailor is not only literally seeing him, but is trying to ward him off and defeat him. The second half of the song, in my opinion, can be seen as a sailor trying to ward off the dragon with the power of music. And fun fact, before I knew what this song was really about, before I knew what Bakunawa was, when I first listened to the album, I just believed he was rapping from the perspective of the sun. So I'm proud of myself for knowing that he was rapping as some sort of weird creature. Not to say that Bakunawa was weird. We respect Filipino mythology here. And the sort of, not bongos exactly, but hand drums fits the theme of the Bakunawa so much. Turn on that television of mine. I should have broadcast the whole time. Every angle, another gold mine. Hey, in the rear view. You begin to hear the beginnings of a piano back. I love the piano there. I watched a video and someone said this, and it's unfortunate to say now, but this is very Kanye. Like Yeezus era. Especially how braggadocious this sounds. Perhaps on purpose, right? To use a sound from Kanye, someone who is religious, to make a song about going against a god. I believe it is in the final moments of this song that the sailor, the most perseverant, the most confident, the most determined man on the seven seas, faces the most unstoppable force anyone can think of: nature and the will of God. The song ends in a cacophony, a preview of some words by MARUJA, and then it just cuts. It's beautiful. It sounds like chaos, but it's all beautiful and it all is in key. It is not far-fetched for me to say that within the narrative of Vanisher Horizon Scraper, We, as the audience, as the listeners, are meant to think that the sailor is It's not just chaos, it is music.
Dérivé dans l'espace. Autrefois roi d'un royaume. Détruit par le doux de choix. Oh, Milvani.
The foregone prelude sounds almost nostalgic. Not like a song coming from the present time of the narrative, but like a memory, or the beginning of a memory. I don't want to think about it right now. Oh, the voice. Hey, Melissa. Just, sounds so good. Vanisher Horizon Scraper has been about so many things, but the relationship with this woman has been key. And it's in this very scary moment for the sailor, right? Where he's on the edge between life and death, where he maybe doesn't know what to do. He has been perseverant this entire album, but he needs an anchor to come back, a rope to drop down that he can grab onto. Through it all, through it all. It sounds like almost Christmas. Ooh. Through it all, through it all, through it all. It's a little distorted, it's not really clean or mixed or mastered, it's sort of overwhelming. And despite his mixed feelings on his love, the sailor doesn't beg for forgiveness. He asks for Melissa. That with all these feelings, and with the desire to keep going despite it all, the sailor lifts his head above the water, back to where he once was, as he lives. For now.
All in a haze, there's a life underneath. Do you like what you've seen? Do you like what you've seen?
Orchestral. The tempo changing, like there's a director there conducting everyone. This part. All in a haze, there's a life underneath, is a reinforcement of the sailor's mental state during this moment. I mean, still, it's a scary moment. After almost dying at the hands of the great Bakunawa, he's still on the edge between life and death, until he announces that there is life within him. The first verse is about his love, comparing himself to a teddy bear and herself in the present to herself as a child, not only signifying the comfort that she gets from him, but the wonder and joy that he sees in her. But when he says it about himself, it sounds almost dismissive, but not degrading. He has grown in this story. He's learned to accept his flaws, accept the negatives of himself, and not pity himself for it. Instead, now he appreciates that his love will remain by his side as he will do for her. The chorus of the song, just the line repeating, "through it all." It is not only describing what their love will survive through, but in turn, what he has survived to hopefully return to her. He has gone through absolute struggle and absolute chaos at this point. During the bridge, there is a lyric about a blanket of fog. At this moment, it sort of sounds like he is ready to slip back into death and go away, except he has to say this message. His desire to send this message to his love allows him to continue to live through it all. In the second verse, he compares himself to a child again, except this time, he is seeking comfort from her instead of the other way around. It's almost as if this feeling, the certainty that someone he loves will love him back, and that she will take care of him as he would do for her, didn't exist. As the song continues, the sailor continues to belt his heart out, that his love is one of a kind, is unique from the others, is someone who does not deserve to be hurt, but is also someone that he is apologizing to for hurting. At the end of the song, there are some lines that are very, very interesting that I want you guys to really think about. Holding you tight like a bear, but I was the only one there, and I can't return as the same. All I can do is... and then it's cut off before he finishes the sentence. This seems to stem from his motivation, something we talked about all the way at the beginning of this video. That, you know, obviously he went on this journey to fulfill his ambitions, but maybe he also went on this journey so that he could run from the problems that he saw in his life. And yes, while in isolation, just looking at the original 14 tracks, this line may seem like the relationship is over, but when you add the vinyl exclusive tracks like Touch the Sky and other ones, it seems less somber. It doesn't seem super happy, but it's not as depressing as the relationship is entirely over. While yes, he may return home, he will not return home as the same. It's not that he can't remain in the ocean, it's that he cannot remain the same person. He may not physically change, but all of him is gonna be different because of the adventure he went on. He cannot remain the same person after achieving his ambitions. FORGONE is a beautiful journey of a song, like with outstanding lyrics and outstanding vocal performance, moments of beautiful musicality that blew my mind the first time I heard it. This song is great. It's probably my most played off the album, even including the vinyl exclusive tracks. FORGONE, as a song and as a piece of narrative, is the climax of this album. But it is not the end. CASPER featuring MARUJA is the 14th and final track of this album. The track begins with some spoken word said by the sailor. Spoken word that I personally interpret as maybe the final words that the sailor said to his love interest prior to leaving, and distorted by all the chaos of the current time. I mean, I want to go somewhere sounds like a statement you say to your loved one who is telling you to not go, which in turn makes a song like Touch the Sky even more beautiful. Eventually, she did accept that he could go. But the rest of the song is spoken word performed by Harry Wilkinson. Harry Wilkinson being one of the members of MARUJA. Now, I've never personally heard a MARUJA song, but he does outstanding in this. Stays on one note. This stays on one note to create a repetition. It does create a melody, but most people would expect an alive sort of pad situation to be changing. Here it's forever still. Creating the chance and almost expectation of dissonance.
The answers I found.
The guitar this whole time.
You were born with a lot to correct. You were born
It is given so much space and it's beautiful.
You're not high.
This song, in almost every single line, debriefs the entire album and sort of warns about ambition.
Cover me in the shape of a cake. Removing a stone.
Parts slowly adding throughout the song, overpowering each, but the voice is still the loudest.
I accept your answer. I was just a pretender.
The same voice as before.
Surrender.
In the narrative, at least in my personal interpretation of the narrative, the sailor has lived, but is facing one more final challenge. Whether it's the sun, Bakunawa, or something even greater and more bizarre than that, I have no idea. But the sailor will face it head on. Now knowing his motivations, knowing where his head is at, knowing everything about him throughout this entire album, we as an audience get to see his fatal flaw, his childlike desire to explore. Perhaps that's why he seemed hesitant to call himself a child on FORGONE, mixed with his endless perseverance and his determination to get anything he sets his mind on done despite his self-doubts and despite his flaws. And so with all of this, of course this poses a major problem when nature itself is trying to take you down. But as explored earlier in the album, this is a reality that he learned to face early on. As the sailor approaches the horizon, the reality of death gets closer and closer as the lyrics also begin to talk about death more and more. There was something after him, something he couldn't see, and it is coming for him now. These drums, I love these drums. I want to know what instruments these are. Plus like the sort of like cicada type things in this melody. My favorite part of this entire album is about to come out. Do you recognize that? That's the same melody from the first song. And as the instrumental picks up and the words get more intense, it is clear that it's not just like a reflection of the sailor. It is a literal description of what he is doing, but also seems to be a description of something else. In my opinion, at least how I see this final track, Harry Wilkinson is both telling the story of the sailor in his final moments and of a previous sailor, someone else from a previous time, an actual teethless captain with an actual crew that he could have lost. Hell, it's not crazy to interpret the voice of Wilkinson as the captain himself, speaking from beyond the grave, giving a warning to another ambitious dreamer, but without directly saying to stop. Because I don't know if y'all relate, from artist to artist, from dreamer to dreamer, we're not gonna tell someone else to not go for their dreams. Or maybe that's the One Piece fan in me talking, I don't know. Similar to what it did in the first song, preparing you for a journey, here it's preparing you for something else. You still feel like you need to get ready for something musically. And in the final moments of the story, on a narrative level, right, when you're doing something with audio, timing matters. Time matters. Using the lengths of your songs are very, very important. I'll be honest, when he dropped the track list, I was like, God damn, those last two songs are very, very long. But in retrospect, it makes it matter all that much more. I mean, we all saw and heard how fast Bakunawa consumed the sailor in his song. But here, it is taking a very, very long time because the sailor is not backing down. He is determined. He is perseverant. He has a will to keep going no matter what, despite it all. So when nature comes crashing down at him, he is not gonna give up. He is gonna keep on walking. So when you hear this album as a whole, regardless of how you think this story ends, whether you think it's a happy ending, whether you think it's a sad ending, or whether you think it's anything in between, when we compare this song to songs like The Great Bakunawa or Natural Causes or any other chaotic song that ends in a cacophony of noise, we can tell there is a difference between nature and God taking away an unsuspecting person in its unrelenting, chaotic clutches, and the most determined man I've ever seen sail the seven seas, fighting back against God himself. dropped from the air into the song. And this proves it. Listen. It's like he's being dropped onto the water. And soon enough, he enters the water. Though the water has seemed to consume him, we truly never know what happened to the sailor. They say he just vanished. Oh my god, so that was my full analysis of Vanisher Horizon Scraper. Jesus fucking Christ, how long is this video? I hope you all enjoyed it despite how long it was, and if you made it to the very end of this video, comment down below Henny Boys. I'll know what you mean. But even if you skipped around, thank you for watching any of it. It means so much to me. If you want to show support, let's reach that like goal. 65 likes, come on guys. But enough talking for me, Jesus Christ. I want to know about you guys. What did y'all think about Vanisher Horizon Scraper? Did it meet your expectations? Did it exceed your expectations? Were you disappointed? Did you agree or learn anything from my analysis of the album? And what's your personal interpretation on what the story of this, honestly, maybe it's too early to call it, but this masterpiece is? Comment all of that down below. Let's start this discussion, storytellers and Quaker Oaks fans. If you couldn't tell, so somehow I love this album. It is genuinely my album of the year, and it's gonna be pretty fucking hard to beat, even though we are only halfway through the year. And like 2025 is like not a bad year for music. We have had outstanding albums this entire year. It's been crazy. Music has been so good this year. And if you watched through this whole video and you somehow haven't seen the album, go listen to it right now. You can watch it on YouTube for free with beautiful visuals by Quadeca himself. Most of the footage I put here was from the movie, and if it wasn't from the movie, it was from my good friend Apollo. Hi Apollo. But yeah, the album and all of Quadeca's recent projects since Haunt You have been absolutely outstanding. I'm excited to see what he does with his future and the rest of his artistic career, but honestly, if he wants to take a long break, good on him, man. He made something incredible. Hell, if he doesn't make anything after this, I'm just glad he did this. And I mentioned earlier in this video, but I'm a musician myself. And I would be lying if I didn't say that this album filled me with so much inspiration that I've been constantly working on music since I heard this. Not to mention that I was already like getting back on track to making music before this album came out. I'm inspired to get crazier and more ambitious with my own songs, and maybe not drown, hopefully. And you can see how crazy I've gotten by checking out this song right here. If you want to stay up to date with my music, you can subscribe to the Chillx or Chillixion music channel. They're the same channel, just different names, whichever one's easier for you. And you can also follow me on Instagram. That's where I post snippets of all of my songs and all of my music promotion, and I'm a lot more annoying about music on there. Or if you want to support this channel, you can click subscribe down below. Click that little notification bell so you can stay up to date for when I upload a brand new video. We upload videos every other week of analysis, discussions, media recommendations, and if we miss a week, everyone kills me. I'm joking. You guys have been absolutely great. Thank you so much for the patience y'all have had with my very funky schedule and making these crazy ass videos. Doesn't make that easier, but I am super proud whenever I post these and you guys show so much love for them. And I know it was kind of nuts, the format was very weird, but hopefully I put you on. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna go back and listen to the entirety of Vanisher Horizon Scraper again. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty awesome, but I hope all of you have a damn good one. Peace.